welcome back to Learning Pod, brought to you exclusively by Infinity Learning Space. Today we are here once again with a very interesting personality who has over 10 years of experience as a lecturer and currently serves as a lecturer in the Department of Accounting at the Faculty of Management Studies and Commerce at the University of Sri Jayawardenepura. He holds a BSc in Accounting Special in Accounting and Finance from the University of Sri Jayawardenepura itself, and he's also an Associate Management Accountant in CASriLanka and AAT Sri Lanka as well. Having started his career as an equity analyst researcher with over 2 years of experience at Equity Knowledge Partners, he brings a wealth of technical expertise and real-world perspective to the classroom. Well, we are here with none other than Mr. Gayantha Jayasooriya. Hello and a warm welcome to you.
Hello, thank you very much for your kind introduction.
Thank you to you, Mr. Jayasooriya. Let's speak a little bit about CL3, which we're very excited to have you for. Mr. Jayasooriya, we must ask you, because you're an expert in management accounting, and with so much strategic decision making involved, how do you approach CL3 Advanced Management Accounting? What's your approach?
Well, so if we take this subject, Advanced Management Accounting, I would say this is not rather a exam subject, but it's more a leadership subject. So this is like a intermediate subject where students already studied management accounting in their business level, and they are hoping to go to the strategic level as the next step. So this is like an intermediate step in management accounting. So students must have a kind of conceptualization in their mind that they are not just accountants but becoming a future leader in their career path. So they have to have that mindset when they are involving in this subject. So here I mainly focus on this subject as a leadership subject, not just a mere theoretical subject.
Okay, wonderful. And speaking of leadership and being an all-rounder, because especially in the new curriculum, there is a lot of integrated thinking, value creation, leadership that's involved. What is your approach? How would you say what your approach would be to adapting these factors to create this leadership, and what students should students expect in terms of these outcomes?
Yes. So if we take this subject, this is like, as you very correctly said, the integrated thinking is embedded into the curriculum, the new curriculum. So students must have a proper understanding about, let's say, for finance, the strategy, operation, sustainability, everything. They have to have that holistic mindset for sure. So students must be the value creators of an organization. That's the main core focus of the new syllabus. So they have to know about the value drivers of the organizations. So in my way of teaching, I always take the case studies, the real world applications into the classroom. So students have to go through them, then they have to have like a holistic, the full picture of understanding, not just like isolated theoretical areas.
Okay, I'm glad you mentioned about real world scenarios as well, because my question is, now CL3 has a lot of performance management that's involved, a lot of strategic cost analysis that's involved, and a lot of governance and everything that's, a whole rounded management accounting perspective that's given. How do you help the students to connect to the real world experience more than just textbook? Because a lot of people just read through the textbook, think they can make it through. What is your perspective on that?
Yes, if we take the syllabus, the curriculum and the paper structures, yes, some part of the syllabus and the paper that you can cover with the basic theoretical understanding, with the textbook understanding. But as I said previously, the subject is not just focused on like just a mere examination subject, but this is more oriented towards the management accounting and the application part. So as an example, let's say the strategic cost analysis. So basically, by referring to the textbook, you can do simple activity-based costing calculation and the product costing, whatever it is, you can do with the knowledge of the textbook. But there are some parts of the examination papers where they may test your knowledge on how it is linked with the strategic decision making of the organization, how they are going to develop their business concepts in future. So to answer these kind of questions, they must have like a broad knowledge and broad understanding. So that's why I would say, if we say ABC, I will explain how Toyota is using activity based costing in real terms. So that understanding will help the students to answer their questions in the final examinations in a proper manner.
Okay, wonderful, Mr. Jayasooriya. And we must ask you, because now you've taught a lot of students, be it in a state university or other as well. Because I'm just going to add in another question to you. Can you tell us a little bit about your journey with this teaching experience, whether it's a state university or teaching other students? Tell us a little bit about that journey as well, and how this has helped you, because you have a lot of expertise in the corporate world as well, which is how you're incorporating the technical, or rather the real world examples as well, to your teaching as well. Can you tell us a little bit about your journey as well?
Yes. So I have started my career as a lecturer, as a part-time lecturer, I would say, back in 2015. So there I have started with lecturing in AIT. So I have conducted lectures for both financial accounting, management accounting, as well as for economics as well. Then I have stepped into the lecturing of CIMA, especially the financial accounting and management accounting subjects once again. Then once I'm done with the university studies, I have started, just after the university studies, I have started my MBA in University of Colombo, and I have completed with the merit pass. So meantime, I have joined the university as a lecturer. So in the university, I have like 3+ years of experience. So there are different contexts basically. So if we take the professional level and the professional examinations, the student base is somewhat different when it comes to the state universities. And when you are doing some visiting lectures in the private universities, the student base is different. So the way they involve with the subject, the way they let's say face the examination, they are totally different from one to another. So I think as a lecturer, we must have that kind of like a broader kind of experience. Then we can easily cater what we must do to our student base in a proper manner.
Yes, and speaking of how students face exams in different ways, a lot of students who face CA exams have a lot of exam pressure in different ways. So let's speak a little bit about that now, since you mentioned that, because a lot of students also struggle to apply multiple concepts, especially when it comes to CL3, because there's a lot of budgeting, KPIs, and ethical decision making that's involved. So how do you train them to think holistically and to respond strategically in exam pressure?
Yes. So if we take the classroom experience, we are taking individual, let's say, subject areas. Let's say KPIs, the budgeting, let's say the costing, variance analysis. We are taking them as separate subject areas, and we are teaching them isolately. But when it comes to examination, sometimes students, they have to face the examination questions with the blended areas, which may, as you very correctly mentioned, the ethical aspects will be there, the governance parts will be there, the KPI budgeting, and finally how it leads to the strategic decision making. So with the examination pressure, so let's say 3 hours and 15 minutes, it's a very limited time period for the students to write the answers for their question papers. So within that limited time period, most of the students, I don't mention that it's limited only for CA students, when it comes to even the university examinations, most of the students, they fail to deliver the correct requirement for the question given. Okay. That's because they don't have that holistic mindset about the subject, because they are having that isolated subject wise or isolated area wise knowledge, not that broad perspective. So always I encourage the students to interlink the areas and then have a full picture, like a bird's eye view. You have to see everything of the subject as an interlinked. When I'm teaching, always I'm saying that these accounting subjects, they are like a chain. One subject area is very much connected with the other. So students must have that broad kind of understanding in their mind in order to answer the questions, especially the case study type of questions. they need this understanding because in let's say the corporate level, they can face the exam up to some extent because they are like the questions are focused on different areas, even though there are some integrated questions. But when it comes to the strategic level, it's purely a combined question paper, which means the students have to have a very broad understanding, a very holistic understanding, I would say, in order to face the examination successfully. So I am trying to grow that mindset in the students in order to face the examination with a holistic, broad perspective understanding, not just like mere isolated subject areas.
Okay, well, I have another question for you because a lot of people have a lot of different understandings about CL3. What do you think is the main misconception that a lot of students have about CL3?
Yes, well, so most of the students think that this, since the subject name is Advanced Management Accounting and they have already completed Management Accounting in the business level. So management accounting, yes, of course, there are many calculation parts. Yes, of course, in advanced management accounting also, we are having many calculations. But students think that the subject, the paper, everything is about advanced calculations, right? And the subject is really hard. But I would say this is like 50-50. I think even like 60-40 combination of theory and the calculations. Because the syllabus is not purely focused on the calculations. It's about how you analyze the given scenario, how to interpret the figures, how to give your own judgment about the given scenario. So yes, the calculation part is there, but more focus is on that ethical perspectives, the strategic perspective, how you take decisions based on that. So with the current context, let's say with the advanced technologies, the calculations are just a matter of few seconds, right? So anyone can do that. But that strategic decision making part, the analysis part, the judgment part, that comes from your own analysis. So that's the main misconception. And also students think that just memorizing the theory or the frameworks or whatever the things are sufficient to face the examination. No, always the application matters. You will never be rewarded with just mentioning the theory areas. Definitely you have to apply the given theory to the given scenarios. Otherwise, you won't be rewarded in this examination.
Yes, I think I can personally vouch for that as well, because in most cases, I have also just read through the study text and thought that I could apply it, but in reality, it's not really the case. So I have another question for you, because like I said, I usually go through the study text and try to fit in a video or two and see if that could work. What do you think, in your opinion, what are the resources that students should actually go through in detail for them to prepare for an exam? Is just, is reading a study text enough? Should we watch all the videos? Are there the study material or the articles or so that need to be read? What is your opinion on it? What are the resources that actually need to be gone through?
Yes. So the video series will give you a full picture, full idea about the subject and what are the areas that you need to really focus on. So if we take the study text, yes, study text is it's a very heavy text, this 500 odd pages.
It's two also.
Yes, two, yes. So I recommend you to go through the study text. That will benefit you. But in the same time, you can refer to the examiners reports issued by CASriLanka, and you can go through the past papers and you can see what are the comments given by the examiners at the end of the each examination paper, and what are the lacking areas of the students, and you have to assess yourself whether you are having that kind of expected areas, expected competencies within you. So with the lecture series, with the recorded videos, you can grab whatever the things, and you can understand and can identify the most significant areas of the syllabus, where the areas you need to focus more if you want to have a higher score in examination. But I recommend the students to have like multiple approaches for the subject, because this is not purely a technical subject. You must have, as I always saying, this is a very broad subject area, so it's better to have more sources for your understanding.
Yes, absolutely. And you mentioned about the examiner's comments reports as well. And speaking a little bit about that, because the examiner's comments also mention that in most cases, a lot of students don't usually or don't critically evaluate scenarios that are given in the exam paper, or they don't really know how to apply it. Why do you think that gap exists, and how do you suggest we overcome that?
Yes, as I mentioned previously, uh, students, most of the students, they are having kind of like isolated mindset about the subject areas. That's the main lacking part of many of the students. Again, I'm saying not about the CA students, but many of the students, those who are doing higher studies and professional studies. So within this subject, it's a more practical subject, not like management accounting. Management accounting, I would say it's a very technical subject, but when you come to advanced management accounting, it's a very practical subject. So in order to face your examination with a flying colors,
Yeah.
what you need to do is, as I said, have multiple resources, as well as it's better if you can read the global news, right?
Okay.
That's really helpful for your examination, because when you are writing some answers, you can incorporate these things into your answer, which will merit you a lot, because your examiner will know that you are not just a parrot just reading and writing the same thing. But if the examiner will understand that you are having a kind of like broad understanding about things, if you are having a like practical sense about the subject areas where appropriate, then definitely you will be rewarded. So my suggestion for many of the students is to read the global news, just watch the videos about the news about the corporate world, especially related to the management accounting areas. So that will help a lot in your examination.
Okay, so do you think that would also be some of the advice that you could give to students that are just coming out from business level subjects? Because for when they're sitting for corporate level exams, they've just finished the business level subjects, and a lot of people say that it's a big gap. There's a big difference, just like you mentioned, for corporate to strategic. What advice would you give to those students who are just finishing off business level exams, coming into corporate level exams from day one? How do you think they should train their mindset?
Yes. So mainly I see two kind of differences when it comes to corporate level from the business level. One is in the business level, the students can face the examinations in any of the three languages that they prefer. Many of the students select Sinhala medium, and the Tamil students, they select Tamil, and I would say very like selected set of people, they are selecting this English medium as the mode of facing examination in the business level. But when it comes to corporate level, you don't have any choice, right? Definitely you have to face the examination in English. So that's one barrier that most of the students facing, the language barrier. So you have to overcome that, right? So in our video series, what I would do is we are using like a bilingual kind of communication, because we know that many of the students, they have their foundation, they have their basic knowledge in Sinhala, which may be coming from their advanced level or maybe from the business level. So to bridge that gap, we are conducting the lectures in both Sinhala and English. We are using both Sinhala and English terms. That's one. Another one is in the business level, the question paper structure is more oriented towards the OTQs, objective test questions. But when it comes to AMA or let's say corporate level, it's not purely or solely the OTQs. You have to have the broad case study analysis, then some calculations. So that is the second gap that I see, because some students, they can face the OTQs, because OTQs are more or less the theory parts, the technical parts, but it's not the case when it comes to the corporate level. So these are the two main gaps that I see when it comes to corporate level from the business level. So in our lecture series, in our video series, we are trying to fill the gap or to bridge both the gaps through our videos, right? So we'll explain you how to successfully write an answer to the given scenario. As an example, let's say in the paper there are action verbs where students do not focus on, like explain, briefly explain, illustrate, critically evaluate, critically analyze, assess. So students don't understand about these action verbs. So that's really important, because in Business level, we don't find that kind of action verbs in their examination because more of them are articles. But in this level, you need to thoroughly focus on these areas. So through our video series, we are trying to bridge these gaps when it comes to the corporate level advanced management accounting.
Wonderful. Okay. And Mr. Jayasooriya, I have a final question for you as well. What advice would you give to our students, our future finance professionals, that they could take away to, to that for them to prepare not just for exams but to be a finance professional in general? What advice would you give to them?
Yes. So this is the point where actually I have started my discussion. This subject is not a mere examination subject. This is a leadership subject. So always try to become a leader in your profession, not just an accountant, let's say not just a financial accountant or management accountant. Try to be a leader in the area where you are. And the next thing is always in nowadays businesses are considering about the value creation. That's why the subject area, sometimes this is known as value driven management accounting. They have focused more on the value creation. So you have to become a value creator of your organization. You have to identify the key value drivers of the organization. Then you can create much more value to your organization, but not limited to the organization, but to the larger society outside. So my advice is have that kind of mindset in your hearts, because if you become a trusted professional in your area, not just like a mere accountant, it will reward you a lot, and your limit is the sky.
Wonderful. Well, that is definitely the advice that you need with all the motivation as well. Thank you very much, Mr. Jayasooriya, for speaking to us, for being here with us, and looking forward to seeing you a lot more with Infinity Learning Space as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is it from Learning Pod for today. Stay tuned with Infinity Learning Space as we bring you more learning pods just like these.